Hey, ever felt like no matter what you say or do, she still holds all the power? There's a reason for that, and it's not what you think. The real shift begins when you stop reacting and start leading, from a place of inner authority, masculine frame, and deep understanding of female psychology. This is the one dynamic that never fails. If you master it, you'll stop chasing and start choosing. Most men never see it. You will. If this hits something real for you, drop a like, leave a comment, or share this with another man who's ready to stop begging and start understanding. Let's pull the curtain back and break down the actual mechanics of attraction and silent influence, one move at a time. Why it never fails, and how you can use it with any woman. There's a switch in every woman's mind. Flip it and she leans in, follows your lead, feels magnetized by your presence. Miss it, and you'll keep playing a game you don't even realize you're losing. Most guys talk, they try to convince, but the truth is, attraction has very little to do with what you say. It's coded in your behavioral cues, your alpha posture, your emotional control. If she can feel it, she responds. If she can't, well, you already know what happens next. Let's be honest. How many times have you felt like you were doing everything right, but she just wasn't into it? You complimented her, stayed available, even adjusted your tone to not come off too strong. But instead of getting closer, she seemed colder. That's not just bad luck. It's a direct reaction to weak power dynamics. See, women aren't attracted to what's nice. They respond to status signals, emotional leverage, and the unshakable calm of a man rooted in inner authority. Here's the brutal truth. If she feels like she has more control than you, the game's already over. She may play along for a while, enjoy the attention, but she won't chase. She won't surrender. Because in her mind, you haven't proven that you can lead. You haven't shown masculine frame, and you haven't used strategic silence when it mattered. Most men over-explain. The man who understands when to speak and when not to instantly creates gravity. You ever walk into a room and immediately feel who the dominant man is without him saying a word? That's nonverbal dominance. It's not about puffing your chest out or pretending to be alpha. It's about the way your energy sits. It's your breathing, your stillness, your eye contact. Women feel this more than they process it. It triggers female psychology in a way that language can't. And it's one of the most overlooked secrets of why this method never fails. Women are constantly running compliance testing without even realizing it. A teasing comment, a delayed reply, a sudden cold shoulder, and every reaction you give feeds her a clue. If you get frustrated, seek validation, or try harder, you just failed the test. But if you stay centered, unaffected, playful, you pass without resistance. This creates sexual polarity, that magnetic space where she leans in because you're not chasing, you're choosing. That's when desire creation becomes effortless. Here's something most men never hear. Being liked doesn't make her want you. Certainty does. When you move like a man who doesn't need anything, attention, affection, or approval, she starts recalibrating her behavior around yours. That's the power of validation withdrawal. You give less, and suddenly she gives more. You pause, and now she reaches out. Not because you're playing games, but because her instincts are responding to your self-worth, your mental resilience, and your refusal to be moved emotionally. I once coached a guy, let's call him Marcus, who couldn't understand why women always flaked on him last minute. He was well-spoken, generous, and genuinely respectful, but when we broke down his interactions, it became clear he was over-investing before they earned it. He lacked boundaries. No boundary setting, no male assertiveness, and zero sense of pre-selection. The moment we worked on his tone, posture, and silence, he flipped the script. One girl who ghosted him texted back, "You feel different now." There's a pattern here, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The moment you stop chasing clarity from her, you start creating it in her. That's the essence of seduction strategy. It's not about trying to convince her you're the one. It's about being the one who doesn't need to. The man who operates from inner authority doesn't seek permission to lead. He leads naturally because his focus is on who he is, not how she feels about him. Every word you say, every gesture you make, she's scanning for weakness, not maliciously, but instinctively. That's female psychology at work. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent, emotionally grounded, and sharp enough to recognize psychological triggers. A man with emotional leverage knows how to hold space without getting pulled in. That tension, that slow burn of mystery, is what makes her addicted. It's not your charm, it's your calm. Think about it. When was the last time you watched a woman adjust her behavior around a man? Lowered her voice, leaned in, chose her words more carefully? That doesn't happen when she's in control. That only happens when she senses something stronger, a deeper current beneath the surface. That's nonverbal dominance meeting sexual polarity. That's the moment she starts wondering what it would take to impress you, and that's exactly where you want her. Let's talk about energy. Masculine energy is stillness, direction, intention. Feminine energy is movement, emotion, response. When you try to mirror her energy, get emotional, reactive, impulsive, you kill the polarity. She doesn't want a reflection. She wants direction. This is why masculine frame is foundational. When she storms, you stay still. When she doubts, you stay certain. That contrast is what sparks desire creation. And that contrast is what makes this dynamic feel inevitable, like gravity pulling her in. Don't misunderstand. Being silent doesn't mean being passive. It means using strategic silence as a tool. When you pause instead of explain. When you observe instead of react. Silence gives you power because it creates tension. And tension, when paired with alpha posture, ignites her curiosity. She starts leaning into your mystery, starts wondering what's behind that stillness. Most men fill silence with validation. The wise man lets silence do the work for him. Ever notice how some men get away with saying almost nothing, and yet they're the ones women chase hardest? That's not an accident. That's social proof in action. When a man carries himself like someone already desired, women assume there's something to figure out. They start projecting value onto him. That's the power of pre-selection. Women want what other women already respect. And when you combine that with behavioral cues of control, the result is effortless attraction. This doesn't mean faking it. It means shifting into the man who no longer relies on external signals to validate his worth. Self-worth isn't loud. It's not ego. It's that quiet, grounded presence that says, I don't need you, but I'd choose you if you're aligned. That energy creates fear of loss in her, which is crucial. When she feels she could lose you, not because of threats, but because of your standards, her respect rises. And where there's respect, attraction follows. Now here's where it gets even more real. The moment you stop trying to prove yourself and simply be the man, things shift. She can feel when you're not outcome dependent. She can feel when your attention is a privilege, not a given. That's where rejection immunity kicks in. When you no longer fear losing her, you unlock the ability to influence her without force. It's not about control, it's about conviction. You're not pushing, you're pulling from a place of strength. And let's be clear, you don't need to be rich, famous, or outrageously good looking to apply this. This isn't about being someone else. It's about stripping away everything that's not you. Your posture, your voice, your eyes, they all tell a story before you even speak. When they're aligned with your inner authority, your energy speaks louder than words. That's why this approach never fails, because it doesn't rely on tricks. It relies on something real, the energy you carry into every interaction. And here, a quick pause. If what you're hearing is shaking something loose in your mind, if it's making you realize how much power you've been giving away without noticing, then now's the time to take action. Not tomorrow, not later, right now. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with another man who needs to wake up from this mental fog. Because this isn't just another video, it's a shift. And what's coming next? It's going to make everything you've heard so far feel like the warm-up. Let's talk about pressure. Most men feel they need to make a move or risk losing her interest. But when you're centered in mental resilience, that pressure disappears. You stop rushing. You let her feel the space between your words, the pauses, the presence. That space makes her question, wonder, and anticipate. It builds that slow psychological burn that leads to surrender. Remember, tension isn't the enemy. It's your greatest ally, if you know how to hold it without flinching. A common mistake? Over-texting, over-explaining, trying to fix things with words. The truth is, the more you talk, the more you reveal your frame is shaky. Women don't need paragraphs, they need presence. A man with male assertiveness sends one message, then disappears, not to be mysterious, but because he's busy leading his own life. He understands compliance testing, and he knows the game is won by those who wait, not those who beg. Simplicity is seductive, always. Let's make it visual for a second. Imagine her walking toward you, heels clicking, eyes scanning. She's not thinking logically, she's feeling. Every second she watches how you stand, breathe, react. Are you calm? Focused? Unmoved? Your body speaks, your face tells stories. If there's tension in your shoulders, doubt in your eyes, or neediness in your smile, she senses it. But if you stand tall in alpha posture, grounded in emotional control, she'll feel something she can't quite name, but desperately wants to follow. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about remembering the man you stopped being when you started playing by her rules. That shift from reactive to intentional changes everything. You're no longer trying to win her over. You're filtering, observing, leading. You don't ask for the green light, you walk. And if she wants to come along, great. If not, you keep moving. That's the power of a man in control of his path, not her mood. One of the most underrated skills a man can develop is restraint. Not just sexually, emotionally, verbally, mentally. When you can feel everything, but choose not to react, you elevate yourself. That's emotional control in action, and women feel that deeply. especially in moments where they expect you to lose it, to chase, to overreact, to explain yourself. When you don't, when you pause and stay grounded, you flip the power dynamics entirely. You become unpredictable, and unpredictable is magnetic. Let's revisit Marcus for a moment. After he reclaimed his masculine frame, something wild happened. The women who used to breadcrumb him started sending long texts. Women who once flaked were suddenly respectful of his time. Why? Because he stopped being the guy who needed them. He became the man who chose them. And in that shift, every part of his behavior changed, from the way he walked into a room to how he handled compliance testing like it was child's play. Now here's a trick. Few talk about strategic silence after a moment of intensity. You make a bold move, hold a strong opinion, or lead with conviction. And then you go quiet. No follow-up. No need for approval. That silence builds tension. And in that silence, her mind races. Why isn't he explaining himself? That's where you let psychological triggers do the work. She starts feeling you instead of analyzing you. She stops thinking and starts reacting. That's when the shift happens. So many guys kill attraction because they overcorrect after rejection. They try harder, get nicer, soften their edges. But rejection immunity isn't about bouncing back. It's about never needing to be chosen in the first place. You walk into every dynamic knowing your worth, grounded in your inner authority with clear boundary setting. If she fits, good. If not, you're still whole. This mindset removes all desperation from your vibe, and without desperation, desire has room to breathe. You ever notice how the most desirable men rarely post about their love lives? It's not just privacy, it's social proof by omission. They don't chase attention, they attract it. And when women sense that other women respect, admire, or want you, they lean in closer, not because you said something clever, but because your reality projects value. That's pre-selection in its purest form, and it's subtle, unspoken, but loud enough that she feels it before she even understands it. Let's bring it into your everyday. You're on a date. She challenges your opinion. Most men try to justify or backpedal. You won't. You hold your ground calmly. You smile, maybe tilt your head slightly, no tension, no reaction. That's male assertiveness. You're not here to win arguments. You're here to express your truth and filter accordingly. And when she feels that, she relaxes. Not because she agrees, but because she trusts your center. She knows you won't fold to pressure. It all comes down to this. Women don't fall for the man who tries to be perfect. They fall for the one who feels real, solid, certain. Not because he's playing a character, but because he's deeply aligned with who he is. That's self-worth. That's what makes this process repeatable and why it never fails. You don't just apply tactics. You become a man who walks differently, speaks differently, feels different. And that difference, it's what she remembers. Now imagine this. She's scrolling through her phone late at night, surrounded by guys trying to be cute, clever, or persistent. But your message? Short, direct, confident. You didn't chase, you didn't beg, you just left space. And that silence? It echoes louder than 100 compliments. That's desire creation in motion, not because you were cold, but because you were composed. That's what female psychology responds to. Energy that doesn't move unless it chooses to. The next time you're face to face with a woman, try this. Say less, breathe slower. Make your eye contact last a second longer than what's comfortable. And then do nothing. Let her talk, let her guess. Let her feel your stillness. In that space, you'll notice something subtle. Her tone softens, her posture shifts, she starts to mirror you. That's nonverbal dominance at work. You didn't say a word, but everything changed. That's how influence really happens. Don't be afraid to disappoint her. That sounds wild, I know. But men who are terrified of upsetting women always live in reaction. They live in fear, and that fear leaks through everything they say. But a man with mental resilience understands that discomfort isn't danger. Disagreement isn't rejection. He can hold tension, make decisions, and walk away if necessary. That's the kind of man she respects. That's the kind of man she remembers. Let's get even more practical. Audit your presence this week. How often are you filling silence out of fear? How often are you trying to impress instead of assess? Every time you catch yourself chasing, pause, breathe, recenter. That pause is where your inner authority lives. That awareness is how you regain emotional leverage. You don't need a script, you need presence, and once that presence becomes natural, the rest flows without effort. You're not here to be liked, you're here to be respected. And not by being rude or cold, but by being real, a man with boundaries, standards, vision. And that means not every woman will like you. But the ones who matter, the ones who feel the depth of your energy, they'll respond with something rare. Submission without force, devotion without begging. That's the power of alpha posture in real time. Not loud, not flashy, just undeniable. If you walk away with anything, let it be this. You don't have to get women to win with them. You just have to understand yourself. The more you anchor into your masculine frame, the more the world, including women, adjusts around you. This isn't magic. It's mechanics. And when you start living from this place, you stop asking, what should I say? And start asking, what do I stand for? That's the question that rewires everything. Because at the end of the day, when she looks at you, she's not listening to your words. She's reading your energy. She's reading your body, your pauses, your presence. She's deciding subconsciously if you lead or follow. And if she senses you lead yourself, she'll give you the one thing every man wants, but few know how to earn: everything. And that's why this approach never fails, because it's not about her. It's about you. You've heard a lot today, but here's the real question. Will you apply it? Or will you forget it the moment this video ends? Because this isn't just cool information. This is a new lens, a new language, a new posture. And if you truly start living this, walking in masculine frame, leading with inner authority, and holding your ground with emotional control, you won't just get what you want from women, you'll stop needing anything from them at all. That's the shift. Now, I want to hear from you. What part of this hit hardest? What's the first thing you're going to start doing differently? Drop it in the comments below. And if you're ready to show the algorithm that more men need to hear this, write this phrase: I no longer chase. I attract through presence. It helps way more than you think, and your words might be exactly what another man needs to see today. Thanks for staying with me all the way through this. Seriously, it means you're ready. Most won't even finish. Now, before you go, hit that like button, share this video with someone you respect, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because if this one shook you, the next ones are going to rewire you.